Have you ever wondered why, despite your patience, your prayers, and your tears, the one meant for you hasn't yet appeared? You tell yourself, I've waited. I've lowered my gaze. I've held on to my faith. And yet, silence, emptiness, delay. But what if I told you that this waiting is not a punishment? What if this moment of longing is not a denial, but divine preparation? Allah is not absent in your silence. He is working in places you cannot see, arranging paths, shifting people, preparing hearts, yours included. The person you're meant to meet is not late. They are being prepared, just as you are. Their soul is being refined, tested, polished. And perhaps your dua is not being answered yet, because you are being aligned, not only with them, but with your purpose. Many seek the ideal partner like they're browsing through a catalog of traits: tall, gentle, successful, beautiful, religious. But Allah does not send based on checklists. He sends based on need, completion, and destiny. And sometimes that destiny doesn't appear with a grand sign. It walks in quietly, unexpectedly, and only those who see with the heart can recognize it. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Know that what has passed you by was never going to befall you, and what has befallen you was never going to pass you by." That includes people. If someone walked out of your life, it's because they were never written to stay. And if someone is delayed, it's because the time of their arrival has not yet come. Do not be deceived by what the eyes see or what the world promotes. Allah's gifts are wrapped in wisdom, not appearance. You may think you're waiting for them, but what if they're waiting for you to become who you're meant to be before your paths cross? So ask yourself, not when will they come, but am I becoming who I must be to welcome what Allah has destined for me? And Allah is never late. There's a kind of peace that no words can explain. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand. It simply rests in your chest like still water. That peace, subtle, weightless, unshakable, is often how Allah speaks to the hearts of His servants. While others chase sparks and butterflies, the believer learns to chase serenity. Not noise, not fantasy, but peace. You may find yourself sitting beside someone and feel no need to perform, no urge to pretend. Your soul exhales. Your thoughts are calm. There is no confusion, no inner turbulence. And this is no accident. The Messenger of Allah told us, righteousness is good character, and sin is what wavers in your heart, and you dislike that people become aware of it. What wavers in your heart, your unrest, your anxiety, those are signs. Peace is a divine whisper. When Allah wants to guide you, He often doesn't rearrange the world outside of you. He rearranges the world within you, that sudden comfort in someone's presence, that inexplicable calm. It might be Him guiding you. And when you're on the wrong path, even if everything looks perfect on paper, you'll feel it. Tightness in the chest, unease, agitation. That's not something you can explain. That's something your soul simply knows. The one Allah wrote for you will not disrupt your spiritual rhythm. They will not make you question your worth. They will not ask you to lower your standards in deen. Instead, they will make you feel closer to Allah, even in silence. And when you pray istikhara and find your chest expanding with peace, do not ignore that. That is divine navigation. Some people confuse excitement with connection, but connection is not found in adrenaline. It's found in stillness. So the next time your heart feels calm, don't ask, "Why am I not feeling more?" Ask instead, "Is this the kind of peace that only Allah gives?" Because when your soul recognizes the One, it doesn't shout. It rests. Every habit you carry, every quiet routine you've built, what if it's not random? What if the things you're drawn to, the places you go without knowing why, are gentle threads in the divine tapestry of your destiny? Allah's plans are never chaotic. What appears small to you may be the opening of a door you can't yet see. You keep returning to the same library, sitting in the same cafe, walking the same path at sunset. You think it's just coincidence, but Allah never works by chance. And your Lord creates what He wills and chooses. Not for them was the choice. Quran 28:68. Your habits are whispers of divine orchestration. Through the ordinary, He unfolds the extraordinary. Your passions, too, hold meaning. The causes that ignite your soul, the dreams that never leave you, these are not decorations of the self. They are signs. When you pursue them sincerely, not for fame or gain, but for the sake of goodness and purpose, Allah places people on your path who mirror that sincerity. It's not chemistry, it's harmony. It's not surface connection. It's alignment of souls built around the same light. You may find someone volunteering where you do, caring for what you care for, speaking with the same tenderness about things you hold sacred. That's not a fantasy. It's how Allah draws hearts together, beyond appearances, beyond logic. Passion is a doorway, and sometimes behind that door stands the person your heart has been making dua for all along. Don't underestimate your small inclinations, the park you feel drawn to, the online course that caught your attention, the friend who keeps bringing up the same name. These might all be part of a path you didn't design, but one Allah crafted long before your need even existed. So don't just chase the one, chase your light. And trust that Allah brings together those who follow their passions with sincerity and hearts rooted in Him. They told you that love comes through grand gestures, through glances exchanged in holy places or during quiet moments in prayer. But what if love, real, divinely blessed love, comes hidden in service? What if the road to the one Allah chose for you is paved not with longing, but with giving? There is something sacred about serving others for the sake of Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The most beloved of people to Allah are those who are most beneficial to people." When you lose yourself in service, when you work not for attention but for barakah, Allah elevates you, and often He aligns your path with someone whose heart beats with the same rhythm of service. Look at the stories of those who came before us. Ruth was gleaning fields to provide for her family when she met the man Allah had written for her. Rebekah was drawing water for strangers when she was approached by a servant seeking a wife for the prophet Isaac. Rachel was tending her father's flock, working under the sun with humility and dignity, when she crossed paths with Jacob. None of them were chasing love. They were fulfilling duties with sincerity. And love came, on Allah's terms. When your heart is focused on giving, not getting, on building, not being noticed, your light becomes visible to those whose souls recognize it. You don't need to announce your goodness. The right one will witness it in the way you care for others, in how you show up when no one is watching. That's when Allah sends someone who isn't impressed by appearances, but moved by your sincerity. So keep serving. Serve your parents when no one claps. Serve your community when no one says thank you. Serve the deen, even if it means doing the smallest of things, sweeping a mosque, giving a ride, comforting a stranger. Every act you do for Allah plants a seed, and perhaps the one you are meant to love is watering those same seeds from the other side of the garden, not knowing you both are growing toward each other. Sometimes the person Allah destined for you is not found in the spotlight, but in the quiet corners where sincere people work without seeking reward. They are not looking to be loved. They are loving through action, through effort, through sacrifice. And when your effort aligns with theirs, hearts recognize each other before words are even exchanged. So stop looking up, waiting for a sign to fall from the sky. Look down at the work in your hands. Look around at who is walking beside you while you're too focused on doing good to notice. Maybe, just maybe, the one your soul longs for is already near, serving, building, and quietly praying for a heart like yours to one day join theirs. And remember, what you do in secret, Allah rewards in the open. You keep running into them, once at the grocery store, another time at a gathering, then again in a place you never expected, on a day you nearly didn't show up. You smile politely, tell yourself it's just a coincidence, but in your heart, something stirs. A strange familiarity, like your soul recognizes what your mind cannot yet grasp. There's a truth most people overlook. What we call coincidence, Allah calls design. Every step you take, every detour, every pause in your routine, it's all part of a choreography written long before you were even born. Indeed, all things we created with predestination. Quran 54:49. And when two paths keep crossing, it is often not by chance, but by command. Unexplained coincidences are sometimes Allah's gentle way of saying, pay attention. That repeated name, that recurring presence, that quiet bond that seems to build itself, even without effort. These are signs not to be chased obsessively, but to be observed with sincerity and reflection. Perhaps Allah is planting ease around this person to soften your heart toward a future only He can see. The stories of those before us are filled with such encounters. Musa, alayhi salam, fled Egypt in fear, exhausted and alone, only to arrive at a well where he met two women, one of whom would become his wife. It wasn't a romantic pursuit. It was a moment of divine alignment. A man needing direction, a woman needing assistance, and in that quiet transaction, a future was written. When Allah writes something for you, He doesn't need your planning. He doesn't need your manipulation or your timelines. He places what's meant for you in your life again and again, until it becomes impossible to ignore. And when it does, your heart will recognize it, not through loud emotions, but through clarity, ease, and subtle divine echoes. Still, be cautious. Not every repeated encounter is a sign. That's why we are taught to pray istikhara, not to demand, but to ask, O Allah, if this is good for my deen, my life, and my afterlife, then make it easy and bless it. And if not, turn it away from me and turn me away from it. In this dua lies the key, surrender. Because the most dangerous mistake is trying to make a coincidence mean something it never was. But if Allah is truly sending you signs, gentle, repetitive, unforced, then don't let fear or doubt close your heart. What keeps reappearing in your life might be the answer to a dua you forgot you made years ago. It might be the soul Allah wrote beside yours before time began. So ask yourself, is this just a moment, or is it a moment written? Don't rush to conclusions, but don't ignore the patterns either. Let Allah's signs unfold at their own pace. What returns to you again and again, with ease and sincerity, may not be a coincidence at all. It may be destiny tapping gently at your door. Some people ask, how will I know if it's them? They expect a thunderclap, a flash of divine light, something dramatic. But the truth is far simpler, far quieter. When Allah sends you the one, there may be no orchestra playing in the background. There may be no fireworks. But there will be harmony. There will be flow. There will be presence. You will find yourself talking to them, and hours will pass like minutes. You will share thoughts, and they will respond like they were already thinking it. You will feel that you do not have to explain your values. They already live by them. That's not infatuation. That's recognition. And in that recognition, you'll feel something deeper than excitement, reassurance. This is the one who pushes you toward Allah gently but consistently. The one who reminds you to pray not just with words, but with their own prayer. The one who holds your hand in silence. But in that silence, your heart whispers dhikr. That's the person whose soul echoes yours in submission, in taqwa, in longing for Jannah, not just love on earth. Yes, there will be tests. Nothing destined escapes trials. But there will be something inside of you that tells you this is worth fighting for. That whisper is not yours. That whisper is from the one who sees beyond what you see. Perhaps you hate a thing, and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing, and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you know not. Quran 2:16. The right one won't come to complete your nafs. They will come to mirror your growth. They will not fix your wounds, but they will sit beside you and hold space while you heal. They will not speak over your dreams, but build them with you. This is not fantasy. This is what happens when two souls, grounded in Allah, meet at the right time, in the right state, for the right reasons. Sometimes the delay is not because the person is not ready. It's because you are not yet aligned with the version of yourself who can love purely for the sake of Allah. And other times, it's because Allah is testing your sincerity. Will you worship Him while waiting? Will you trust Him even when your heart aches with longing? So instead of saying, "Where is the one?" begin saying, "Ya Allah, make me ready." Because when you're ready, Allah never hides what's written for you. He only unveils it in its proper season. And when that season arrives, you'll realize it was never really about finding them. It was about finding your way back to Him, with them beside you, not in front of you. If this journey touched your heart, if you felt seen in these words, then this path is yours too. Don't let it stop here. Subscribe to the channel, and together we'll keep uncovering the wisdom of Allah's plans. One soul, one story, one divine sign at a time.